And we are back for another live episode of the Kingdom. Welcome, our viewers, our listeners from across this beautiful country of ours, Manitoba, Sask, Alberta, Pincher Creek to be specific, British Columbia, Newfoundland, and anybody else across the world who might be tuning in tonight. We're glad to have you. There's two of us for now. Reggie will be here, we hope, but we're going to carry on without him. So without further ado, let's get to the countdown. Let's get to Drums' intro and let's talk some golf.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kingdom. As always, my name is Drums, and I'm joined by the brother behind King Golf, Jordan Headley. We're switching it up. That caught me off guard. We're sending it out to Rossman first, as Reggie is crawling his way home. We'll see if he shows up in time for the show, but we'll maybe get to him later. But let's see what's going on out in Rossman. Jor, what's happening, buddy?
Top of the evening to you, ladies and gents. Good to see you, Drummy. Not a whole lot happening here tonight. We got a game. The Rossburn Hornets are in Burrell tonight. Had to miss the game, unfortunately. But we have the Kingdom to attend. So, kind of shitty. I've only skated once this year, but, I mean, I went 2 years without skating. So, I'll bounce back. I did hurt my knee, though, today. Doing a little bit of a workout in the basement, and you feel something weird, and then you just kind of try to push through it. But as you get older in age, it's usually a bad idea to do that. And I think I aggravated a little more than I wanted to, so I just called her a day. I was kind of at the end of it anyways, but then had some Spence Bros pizza. And the bad news for you and everybody listening tonight. We're on the whiskeys. We're on the Crown Royal.
Sailing.
No, we're not sailing with the captain. We got from the home of Gimli, Manitoba, Crown Royal. Reggie, new sweater, bud?
No,
you.
Never seen it. Aspen must be paying out some dividends. Oh, PI.
Wow.
Always have to interrupt my intro, hey, Reggie? Whenever I'm getting
you're the one that you're the one that lets him in, so it's on you.
That is true, Reggie. You just missed it. I told bad news to the world. I'm drinking whiskey tonight.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Look out.
Might be good news. Bad news for Reggie. Good news for everybody else.
True, but it's almost December. December is 2 days away. We only got a month left in 2023. We got some big things popping in 2024. I think it's going to be the biggest year yet for the Kingdom and for King Golf and for a lot of things. What do you got?
It's going to be something.
Bringing some housekeeping in? Or what are you doing, Drums?
Me?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were grabbing something.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just moving this light out of my eye.
So we're going to make some changes to the Kingdom. Not much. We've already announced a few of them, but we got a couple more coming. Those who listen to the podcast are going to be in for a little treat, as we're going to be doing a little bit more in-depth editing. So to cut out some of the BS, some of the live chat stuff, that'll be optioned in the podcast going forward. So just going to test her out. You got to try different things, and we're always moving. We're always shaking. So that's my story for tonight. Toss her to Dolphin.
Dolphin, what's going on?
I'm the son of a 65-year-old. Just got back from mom and dad's place having a birthday supper for Tron. Had some steak, had some wine. Celebrated the old boy's birthday. Got another celebration coming up Saturday. And yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Things are honestly electric right now in my life. Cockerel tees off tonight at 12. And Tiger's back tomorrow, man. It honestly seems like, I don't know, it came out of nowhere. Honestly, out of absolute nowhere. And all of a sudden there's these videos of him like striping on the internet. And I'm here for it, man. I cannot wait for tomorrow. You guys?
What time's ETF?
Amen to that.
I think it's 11:35 Eastern, so 10:30 our time.
Sorry, AC. What time does AC tee off?
AC's off at 11:50 tonight.
Oh, in like a couple hours?
Full 12-hour shift for you, Reggie. 11 to 11.
There we go.
I might track the back half of the second round of AC, but I won't be staying up tonight.
Golf Channel getting the workout here.
That should be busy. Drums, tell us what's happening in Brandon, Wheat City.
Wheat City. Not much. Luca went over for a sleepover at his cousin's place on Saturday, so me and Les had a nice little date night. We went to the virtual reality spot and did. Have you guys ever done escape rooms?
Yep,
never.
That's what we did. Was the virtual escape room. So within 3 minutes of putting these things on, like you're fully in. Like I'm leaning over tables that aren't there and like go to put my weight on them and like just about fall, get excited and like go to run and you smoke the wall. Like it's just ridiculous. But, it was cool. It was not as good or fun as an actual escape room, but the virtual reality aspect was a fun thing. Good hour killer. And then you kind of get to play some. There's like games too. It's like you play like zombies and shit from Call of Duty. You just shooting things and stuff like that. But the VR is pretty sick. I understand the hype. I understand the people that would rather that and never come out of their basements. I do get it. I think you're crazy, but I do get it. It's cool though. So it was good. We wasted an hour of that and then went had dinner. And I subsequently got food poisoning. So I was out of commission all Sunday, just puking my guts out.
Just bad luck, Drums.
It was an up and down weekend. Let's say that.
That's shitty.
Up, down, and out. Pretty shitty, for sure.
Pretty shitty. Very shitty.
Pretty shitty, pretty pukey.
You're feeling better now, though?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how much I love escape rooms or not, personally.
But same as Jorah. Like I was doing some stretches the other night and woke up, can't feel my back. Like I've absolutely crippled. So at our age, we just can't do anything anymore. We are what we are.
Past the hump, Drums.
Yeah. Just white knuckle it from here on out.
What's wrong with you?
I'm only about 10% done my life, so I still got the best 90 to come. But
10%?
Yeah.
I'm over the 50%, I think, of mine.
I hurt my knee
Optimistic.
today. Hurt my knee.
I'm
Not
on the
bad,
back
but
nine.
just like a little worrisome.
Yeah, I'm on the back nine. I'm at like 54% of my life lived already.
Yeah.
Good with it. But
according to Cam, AC is playing with Robin Williams.
All right.
Also known as Captain Hook. Also known as Patch Adams.
Patch Adams.
And the guy from Jumanji. I don't know his name in there.
Alan.
Who?
I think it's just Jumanji.
Alan?
I think it was Alan or something.
Alan sounds right. Alan.
No, I think that's the Hangover you guys are thinking about.
Al.
Okay, let's get into action here. Reggie, focus. Get off the live chat. Get off the tracking.
I was just bringing up the I was waiting for the drive to load so I could get the agenda on my phone.
Okay, so let's kick off the show right tonight. We got a nice little cheers in order for the evening. The last one we had was a shout out to AC. What happened, Drums?
Oh,
missed it.
The way that Reg put up his phone, it was like, this is Frank's shirt.
Frank. Couldn't see anything.
So this one tonight is a special one for us. It is a cheers to our dad, as Reggie mentioned. He turned a new year over tonight, a milestone birthday. And so we just wanted to give a cheers to dad. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be in Dauphin tonight with Reggie and family, but I will be there Saturday night at Obsolete Brewing Co. for his party. So cheers to dad. We love you. Nothing but, what did I say earlier? The greatest man to walk the earth. Cheers.
So, happy birthday, Ronnie.
Even Hank's getting in on the mix in the background there.
Anchor. He knows. He knows whose birthday it is.
He gets it. He gets it.
Okay, let's kick off the show in style. Let's start with around the greens. Drums, I'll let you get your shit together. I'll briefly touch on the domies that are in progress as we speak. Record amount of votes. First day of voting saw just under 3,000 votes. And I don't remember the numbers from last year, but I think they were probably about half of that.
All right.
So the domies are growing. As they grow, I continue to ask myself, was domies the right name?
Very good question. The answer
Do we
is
need to
probably
change
not.
the name?
You can't change it now. We're in this.
Every time I have these thoughts in my head, I always think about the pros, the cons, everything in between. One of the pros is definitely that it's original. It's something that I think people will hear, be like, what the fuck does that mean? And then probably stick around in their brain for a while. The cons is fairly obvious.
But
it is kind of unfortunate we couldn't get trophies made up and then hand them out to the courses. Like, they can't display something that says Domi on it, right?
Well, and that's why I threw the King logo in there, just to kind of like distract people a little bit from the Domi aspect of it. But I mean, we could get pretty creative in the awards that we hand out.
Well, let's put it to the listeners. If anybody's got a name up their sleeve that might be better suited for the award or the award shows, spit it our way. We're not going to exactly take it. We may just take the information in and go from there.
We'll consider it. But I mean, there's lots of opportunities as well. Sponsorships from Trojan,
yeah.
Durex.
Who else there? Durex.
Bareback.
Lifestyles.
Who would sponsor the Barebacks?
Yeah,
anyways.
Something I'm not going to say.
I don't know what else we would call it, though.
I like the domies. It flows well, and it's kind of based off of the Dundies, right?
I'd rather win a domie than a kingy. Or we could have gave it we could have just called it like Grounds or something,
or the Manitoba Golf Awards.
No,
we'll stick with the domies. I think the domies. No domies. Hey.
It sounds good until you say it out loud, though.
The domies?
Yeah.
No, it always
in the back of your head it sounds fine, and then you say the domies. There's a little perversion in there.
Yeah,
but it's not called it's not called the Domers.
It catches you though.
Yep. Okay, Drums, hit us with what's happening around the greens around the world.
Got a few things. Nothing like super. I mean, besides the obvious, nothing super crazy happening in the golf world. One thing that did get announced today was Luke Donald staying on as Europe's captain for the next Ryder Cup.
Really?
Which will be played 2025, Bethpage Black. So he's the first repeat captain in 30 years. The last one was Bernard Gallagher. Exactly. Nobody's ever heard of him.
Must have been a heck of a captain, though.
But that's exactly what everybody was saying about the announcement today. Everybody on his side was saying, well, yeah, that's what we wanted from the beginning of the tournament last year was if anybody who is here has a chance to be at it next go around, they definitely want this gentleman controlling everything. So the players got their wish. Luke got a pretty big distinction to his name. So big hat tip and congrats to him.
Seemed
That's
like
impressive.
a very likable guy. I mean, it just seemed like as hard as maybe even the Golf Channel and the broadcasters and everything to do with Ryder Cup tried to oppose it. Like you could see it from a viewer's standpoint, how much the players liked him and how much they wanted to play for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if he was America's captain this year and he had that much respect from his players, they would have had like 3
He's on a float.
30 for 30s about him already, and had like a Netflix movie about him, and
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like he was that well respected. I feel like, anyways, I don't remember ever captains having that much respect before from players.
Right. And it's also not like he's Herb Brooks here either. It's not like what do they really do?
Yeah.
Hey, he did a lot this year, man. Like I think to touch on what Reggie's talking about, like we never really hear about the captains, but like Luke Donald went above and beyond what he needed to do as a captain. Like, did you see that dressing room? Did you see like how much thought was put into every single detail of the Ryder
Right, but
Cup
that's what
this
I'm
year?
asking. That's what I'm asking.
Well,
Like, is every decision that affects that each player, does it run through
is it
him and he
his?
has to give the okay?
I would assume so, and his crew.
Right.
I feel like though, and it's going to go against what we want to see as Canadians, but like I don't think anybody would have been opposed to Trevor Immelman being the captain at the President's Cup the upcoming year.
Yep,
Fair.
agreed.
Very fair.
In Montreal, if it wasn't in Montreal, I'm not convinced that Weers would be the captain and Immelman wouldn't, because he kind of had that same. He became the
Aura.
storyline. You know
He
what I
also
mean? Like,
didn't win though.
yeah, true.
True.
But he turned it from a joke of a
True.
cup
Yeah.
to an actual competition.
Any thoughts of who possibly for the Americans off the top of your head, if you can recall any names? I honestly can't off my head, so
I thought they were talking Tiger Woods.
could you imagine if they? Okay, let's start it now. He signed, seal, delivered. He probably is. What do we got? 2 years, 25, 100%. He's got to be, right?
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they'll probably announce him as captain soon. Now that Luke Donald announcement's out, and I think he's going to keep playing. I think he's going to, have a few good years here, and he might just become a player.
Playing
and then,
captain?
Steve Stricker might have to take over for the year or something like that. I'll tell you who won't be the captain though.
Philip.
Zach Johnson.
ZJ.
He won't be repealing. There's no
He's still got
questioning
his,
that.
American citizenship.
I'm not sure we've seen him since the Ryder Cup. He might be gone.
They stripped his tour card, didn't they?
They might have just killed him. Who knows? I've never seen him.
I was gonna say poor guy, but I wouldn't mean that.
Well, he made an ass of himself. Never
Guy
mind.
sucked shit, man. Honestly,
He
we've
was
always
kinda
said that. Nobody even liked him ever.
He was kind of the polar opposite of Luke Donald, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
didn't care. Just thought he thought that they were going to steamroll them.
Yeah.
He's walking in 6 a.m.
Fucking
with his hat up like
Joe-
this, just like
Joe Biden on the tee box, just wandering.
He went
Yeah.
the other way. Like some captains, obviously, we like in the past, like you could just kind of not disappear, but like just be like a quiet leader and just mind your own business. And like he got obnoxious the other way. He just made himself look so stupid the whole weekend.
He looked like an idiot.
Yeah, it's definitely better if nobody knows that you're the captain versus like that situation.
What he did, yeah.
Anyways, Ches is in the house tonight. Good to see you,
Been a
Ches.
while.
We got a little bit of a shout out to you later on in the Reggie Stroke Saver, a partial shout out. So you might want to stay tuned for that. You're gonna like it. What else we got, Drummy?
So Jordan Spieth is taking over Rory's spot on the PGA Tour Policy Board. is going to finish off the term that runs out next year. Hasn't commented if he'll continue. We've got Paul Zinger is out at NBC. I think this was kind of a bit of a shock for, I guess, probably the company. Probably it seemed to be more happiness than anybody pissed off online about somebody else taking over the position. I don't know. Did you guys have any issues with Zinger on the commentary?
Not me.
I never did either. There are a lot of people online that can't stand him, but I think that's just everything online. You're going to get a large group of people that can't stand something and a large group of people that are absolutely all in favor.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with certain people that's warranted. I mean, all those guys, every commentator has whenever they're short on words, they always just kind of loop it back to themselves. And I think that that's what people gave Zinger the hardest time about, that he was always kind of talking about himself. But I just feel like
Miller too, right?
Miller too. Yeah. And that's maybe who I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, Johnny Miller. He did that religiously.
But Zinger kind of the same way, probably to a lesser extent. I don't know. I liked his voice. I like his takes on things. I mean, I'm kind of indifferent to it. He could have been there or not, and I wouldn't really cared. But so,
yeah, I'm kind of the same way as Jor.
Yeah, as long as Bob Costas is there, Jim Nantz, whoever the main guy is, as long as that guy's like the big name, then yeah, perfect. It looks like they're going to throw that Paul McGinley, coach the Ryder Cup team, Irishman. So
I'm not sure that I'll know who Zinger is like from his voice, honestly. And I watch quite a bit of golf, but I don't know.
You'd know who he is.
I know I would, but like I can't picture it in my head right now.
Yeah, I remember multiple times like listening to the broadcast and being like, "Who is this?" And then every time it would be Zinger.
He kind of has like a nasally voice.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, I'm with Chaz. McGinley is great. I mean, in the Irishman, I was a big fan of Faraday too. Lots of people weren't, especially after going to live. But I thought he was one of the most entertaining people in sports history.
Yeah,
hell yeah, unreal.
At times, for sure.
Okay, let's get right to it. Let's get to the big guy. World number 1,328 is making his return to the golf world this week. The one, the only, Tiger Woods makes his return to the Hero Championship this week in the Bahamas. Boys, how pumped are we? Reg, you kicked us off with it. We sleeping tonight at all?
I got no words, honestly. It just seems like it seems like every time you're like, okay, that could actually be the last time that Tiger actually golfs like competitively. Like when he was golfing the last time, man, and it was raining, and he was like could hardly walk. Like I thought that was not the end of him, but like the end of him like striping it. And all of a sudden, just like you hear absolutely nothing, like not a peep for like how many months, and then all of a sudden he's just out carrying Charlie's bag, walking the full tournament, and then a week later he announced he's playing this tournament, and that his foot's fine and he could play 6 tournaments this year. Like, hello, golf world.
Hello.
The PGA needed a savior, according to you guys, and I think they got it.
Yeah, let's hope that he is the savior. It's just funny to me how every time well, I shouldn't say every time, but the last couple times that Tiger has been injured or something's happened, every time it happens, which seems wild because he's actually getting older, but every time it happens, I actually become less surprised that he's back. After everything that he's gone through, after everything that's happened to him in his life, it just seems like one thing after another. And every single one of those times, he's come back and done something. He's not just come back, but he's done something special that changes the game, changes the world. And so, I mean, yeah, I'm happy he's back, but did I ever think that he was going to be gone? No.
I didn't think gone, but it just like he disappeared for a longer time this time. Maybe not a longer time, but out of the public eye, I would say he disappeared.
Yeah.
Like they never showed any of his swings. They never showed any progress. Like in
Yeah,
the
we
past,
didn't.
like there was like progress videos of him, and then you're like, okay, well he's not ready yet, but he is going to be soon. This time he was walking for Charlie last week, and all of a sudden he's playing on the
Yeah,
PGA Tour. Like
it was within 3 weeks he was caddying, and then we saw him hitting shots, doing clinics and courses, and then hey, I'm playing. We're good to go. And then
he's
let's
ripping it.
fucking go. And he is striping right now. He's signed up for the PNC, so it's just we're rolling downhill, boys. We're catching traction.
Oh, what a cool feeling, man! What a cool feeling. Honest, on a podcast that there's one thing that we can all agree on. All three of us wholeheartedly can agree on. We all absolutely love Tiger Woods, and he is back tomorrow. And the boys will be texting about it. The boys will be buzzing. Like, I'll be hot on Twitter for sure tomorrow.
Phone will be hot.
Yeah.
Did you guys realize this? That Will Zalatoris has actually been away from the game longer than Tiger Woods?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nuts. But Willie Z is also making his return this week at the Hero.
Is he?
Yep. So he had some back injuries. So this was a quote from him in regards to his back injury. Kind of a golfer's worst nightmare is feeling your back giving out on a driving range at Augusta 30 minutes before your tee time for the Masters. I go from ramping up to Augusta, hurt my back on a Thursday, and Saturday I'm already having surgery. It's a big swing of emotions. I think the first 5 to 6 weeks was probably the hardest, just dealing with it mentally. So for that kid, he was on like an absolute rocket with his trajectory. And then just to kind of get that absolute kick to the nuts, just take your knees out from you on the range at Augusta, opening day of Masters. Oh, like, no kidding. Mentally, that would be something that would take a long, long time to get over. I don't know that you do get over it until you play again and play successfully.
Here's my take, and this might be a wildly out there take. Here's a guy that came in. Monday Q talks about him all the time, right? He was so excited about him, so excited about this up-and-coming guy. He bursts onto the scene. Best ball striker anybody's ever seen for a long time. Was absolutely striping it. Developed probably a degree of the yips. Probably one of the ugliest putting strokes anybody's seen on tour for a top-end player for a very long time. Everything's being talked about. Probably the history of the game. Yeah, some of those putts are like the worst putts ever from 2 feet. I didn't let one rip. No. He goes from being like talked about so much, and they're talking about how good of a ball striker he is, and he can't make these putts. And then all of a sudden, he hurts his back, and he's just like, he goes from being talked about as one of the favorites at every tournament for so long to just not a word said about him for however long it's been since April. So that's like 8 months, or no, 7 months. And my thing is, he's going to come back, and he's going to completely forget how shitty of a putter he was before, because it was all a mental thing before. And he's had enough time now that he's not cramming, going week to week, trying to be at the top of his game. He would have had that time when he was recovering. He couldn't swing, but he could still putt, to figure out a putting stroke. And I think he's got something new now, and I think he's going to go on a little tear here.
Will you be disappointed if his putting hasn't improved in this time?
Yeah, I think I would be, honestly, because he had enough time as a professional golfer with all the help you could ever get to improve it. not rushing
Yeah,
from
100%.
tournament to tournament, trying to make it work. Like he should have something concrete now that he can go to. And I think that he's always, like they say, he's one of the best ball strikers of this generation. So
Right.
I'll play devil's advocate here a little bit. Although I do agree with what Reggie says, I do think that there's another possibility in what I'm about to say. I think that when you have that much time off to think
Do
about
we need the foil hat?
everything, what's that?
Do we need a tinfoil hat?
No, we don't. Not for this one. This is just kind of based on my experience, which is obviously a lot different than Willie Z's. But I think his would be on a much grander scale, which might intensify it either way. But I think that because he's had so much time to think about it, I think that he probably has put in the work. He seems like that kind of guy who would put in the work to try to improve that aspect of his game. I don't think anything can compare in terms of the yips to actually playing in golf tournaments. And he could hit 3 million 2-footers or 3-footers or 4-footers, and it would not translate to the course, in my opinion. I actually feel like it could actually move the opposite way because you might lose all your feel when you're worried about too much of the short ones. But I could be wrong. I hope that Reggie's right. My take on it, though, is just it's kind of poetic almost right now how Tiger is coming back from an injury. Will Z is coming back from an injury. And not that Will Z was ever hyped up to be the next Tiger, that he ever will be, because that's not the case. But his career trajectory could have changed that day at the Masters if he would have ignored the injury and been like, I've been preparing for this. I've been one of the best players in the world. This is my week. I'm going to play through this. And he could have made things a lot worse, like we've seen with Tiger. And we talked about that before on this show of how little Tiger really cared about future Tiger and how much his career would be different if he would have taken care of himself and his body a little bit more when he was Will Z's age.
do you think that plays I mean, obviously it does play a factor in, like, he's using one of those lap putters. Sick. It obviously plays a big factor in those guys' decision making, right? I mean, they saw what happened to Tiger when he tried to push through an injury, and now it's just been a spiraling effect of his whole body falling apart on him because he didn't take care of it at the time.
Wait till you hear the list of Tiger injuries. Drums, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of go in between you guys. I lean on the side of I think the time off is just going to massacre his mindset for putting. Like Reg already said, we know that's 98% mental. His issues with it. Is the time off a good thing or a bad thing? Now, he could take time off and dwell on it and still practice. But like you said, you're never going to be able to replicate a tournament setting with those 3, 4, 2-footers. But at the same time, I do think that he is a kid that is going to put every second into improving that he can, no matter what that means and no matter what it entails. That's who I think that kid is. So I don't know. Like, yeah, I think it's just more optimism at this point. I don't really lean too far one way or the other. I lean furthest, I guess, him coming back successfully and just taking off this year and going on an absolute tear.
Sorry, and I didn't mean 100% that, like, I didn't mean he was going to be practicing every day and working on his putting stroke. I meant more so he was like this up and coming. What they mean? They said he's a better ball striker than Tiger at one point. I've heard that numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden he couldn't putt. I'm saying that break from the constant media attention, blowing up on the Golf Channel for 8 hours a day, on Twitter all day, every day, videos of his putting stroke on every social media platform every day. When was the last time you seen one of those?
Right.
That's what I mean. a 7-month break from all the bullshit that comes along with it. Not necessarily him. He can obviously putt, but he just couldn't at that time. So I think it could be like a wipe of everything.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen himself in the media for a long time.
Yeah.
That could be the best thing that's ever happened to that kid too, to be honest.
And
Like,
now he
could you
comes back
imagine
and the storyline's different, right?
Right. Like, could you imagine if Connor Bedard could just delete Twitter for the next maybe month or so and just let everything settle and get back to normal?
Yeah.
Kind of
No doubt.
same realm.
But then also if you're, not to get off track here, but if you're in that situation that he's in and he knows damn well that's not what happened, does it really matter what's being said online at that point? Like if you heard it happen and you didn't know the truth on what happened, then maybe, yeah, but like he knows, who cares? You think?
I don't know. Even you know that it's not. You just see your name getting shit on
Yeah, maybe.
a million times per minute online. It's got to take some effect on you.
So, but that's what I'm saying. So when Willie Z was done,
Yeah,
everything
100%.
you saw of Willie Z, they're like, oh, this kid should be so much better, but he can't putt. And then all of a sudden, he takes his 7 months off, and then everybody's like, oh, here's Will Zalatoris. He just missed 7 months due to a back injury. We can't wait to see him tee it up. Not one mention about how he was putting before he left. Not even an iota. He still knows how he was putting before he left, but the media is not blowing it in his face that was him, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, until he comes back to this tournament and misses a couple short ones, and then
exactly.
Then it could be disastrous. But
until 5
if he comes back and he
just
starts making those, then if he comes back and makes all those 4-footers this weekend, everybody's like, "Oh, the 7-month layoff cured the yips for Zalatoris," and then it changes his mindset, and then all of a sudden he just makes them all. Right? It's as simple as that. You guys know that.
Yeah, hopefully.
He's just on a scale of 100 times more than we've ever dealt with, 1,000,000 times more.
Everybody's gone through the yips. Ernie Els was one of the best putters in the game for a while. And he went through some serious yips at Augusta that one year. And, outside of that weekend too, it was a nagging thing. But the thing about the yips is that they're curable. People usually get them throughout their career. I don't know the Tigers ever had them in terms of putting that I remember. I do remember being very frustrated for a stretch during Tiger's career where it just seemed like he couldn't make any of those putts that he needed to because you were so used to seeing him make those, I think, all the time. Your expectations
in his comeback, you mean?
Much higher. Pardon me?
During his comeback, you mean?
I forget what year it was or what stretch it was, but I do remember
that was recently, right?
Yeah, it's got to be more recently because if you look at statistically, that sumbitch did not miss putts.
Yeah,
not enough where it would be something in your mind like, hey, this guy hasn't made a 6-footer in a while.
Ken said you're never shutting down due to a nagging injury when you're on a Tiger heater, though. That is true.
But I mean, if you break your back, you can't move, and you need surgery within 2 days, you're not playing.
Yeah. Or when you hit a drive at the U.S. Open and drop your knees because you can't support yourself anymore.
Well, he still played.
He still beat Rocco.
Tiger and Chez both at the same time. Tiger had the chipping.
Tiger and Chez. Tiger's in the chat.
Tig is in the chat.
No, you said Tiger and Chez both at the same time.
Oh,
Keebs.
Must be the whiskey. Keebs and Chez said Tiger had the. I do remember Tiger with his earphones in chipping. I think that's when he was struggling with it because that's when they were making a big deal of it, obviously. Okay, so let's before we move past Tiger, let's set some expectations here because that's what we like to do on the Kingdom. So this is something that has bothered me through the years, just by hearing people talk about Tiger Woods. People who don't really understand what he's been through or are so quick to judge the things that they heard on TMZ about him, right? So we know the Tiger's had issues with different things in his life, but I can't even get through this whole list. I'm going to shortcut a few of them. But let's start early on. Where are we here? I'm not going to say the dates. It'll take me too long. So he had a left elbow strain, 2 tumors and scar tissue removed, ruptured ACL, surgery to repair cartilage, surgery to repair ACL, MCL sprain, surgery to repair cartilage, double stress fracture, Achilles strain, restrain of Achilles, surgery to fuse ankle, plantar fasciitis, which is what his most recent injury was. Remember that one?
Mm.
Surgery to insert screws, re-injured Achilles tendon, torn Achilles tendon, fractured tibia and fibula, surgery to remove bone fragment, severe back spasms, follow-up surgery, surgery to remove bone fragments, follow-up surgery, microdiscectomy surgery, surgery on a pinched nerve, severe spasms, oblique strain, acute neck strain, and an inflamed faucet joint.
Dr. Hadley Kenny says. That's actually insane.
It's nuts. How many of those, injuries do you think were related to him playing through injuries?
Well, probably the ones that all say repair or.
I'm going to say it's a quite high.
Yeah, I would agree.
But he's probably a big reason for like the advancement in sports science in like the medical field, I guess.
Probably.
Like a good
I think
push
that back
to it.
fusion was a big one.
Like we've got a quarterback that blew out his Achilles that's going to play this year. Like it's absolutely insane to think of.
Shout out to Aaron Rodgers, the king.
Did they say 79 days?
Just
Achilles, you
nuts.
remember when Carlson, what did he call it for his Achilles? What's that?
His got cut.
Yeah,
by a skate.
Yeah, but he was out for
I watched one
years.
I watched one explode on a football game the other night. Oh God, just looks so fucking painful. Like you just see like the muscle explode and contract.
It's the worst
like
thing that could
nuts.
happen. Yeah, it goes right up to your knee. It snaps and goes up to your knee, and then you just have nothing. Easton's dad had his cut.
Okay, let's move
and
on.
stitched back together recently.
From what?
He just had something he had to get removed, so they had to cut his Achilles to remove it. And then
oh Jesus Christ!
Just get quick Achilles snip in
there.
Do we got anything else to discuss here, fellas?
The only other thing I had on the big guy was his ex, Erica, has dropped her lawsuit and recanted her claim of sexual harassment. So the big guy's back in the clear. He might have done her pretty dirty, just sending her to the airport thinking she was going on a trip, but nothing illegal. So we're back in the good books here, Tiggy.
What a Tiger move that was.
Boys, I don't think we talked about it last week on the show. That Ludwig Auberg. Did you see some of the tweets about him after his latest win?
I did, yeah.
I
started doing some looking into him.
Like some guys that said they couldn't beat him if they played their absolute best. So they just
He'll be a threat. He'll give Willie Z a run.
I also seen people say that Tiger couldn't beat him if Tiger was at his best, and it's pump the brakes.
Yeah, that's a straight out lie.
Ludi. Okay, look at this. Willie Z putting with a broomstick putter.
Well, you should be trying everything, to be honest.
Thoughts?
That'll help.
I don't know. Give him that hockey stick that Happy Gilmore was using. Give him everything.
Well, the caddy held that numerous times, so he did hold it before, so he would have better feel of it.
He knows. He probably has it anyways.
I bet you he does have it.
Get him.
That is him.
Yeah, for sure. Get him the dick putter. Like he should be hitting every putting green, every whatever works. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk briefly. I want to talk about an experience I had on the weekend. I traveled into the Wheat City, and I went to a little place called Evo Golf. Heard of it?
Oh,
heard it's sick.
It is pretty sick. I was pleasantly surprised by how The vibe was in there. There's 4 simulators. There's a kind of like a driving range in the corner where you can just whack balls into a net. I'm thinking Austin and the boys do some lessons in that area when the bays are booked up. And then there's the putting green with the stuff coming down, showing the
That
line,
thing
the
looks sick.
drills.
I don't understand.
So sick.
Oh my god! I thought it was on the surface the entire time.
It's coming down from the roof.
It's projector.
Oh, fuck me!
Yeah, man, I'm with drums.
But anyways,
I thought it was like this insane technology. I was like, wow, mind blowing. No, just
it is still pretty
fucking
cool though. Like I don't know how it works like that, but that was part of it. The simulators themselves, I forget the technology used. It wasn't the golf zone stuff, but it was the most accurate sims I've played on so far. There was a few things that I didn't like, but that might have just been the settings that we had within our game. But good time. The rates are really reasonable. The boys, Austin, Drew was there. Just a good place to hang out. I think it's kind of a perfect place for golfers who are wanting to, just be around other golfers. I felt like that's what it was for, just for golfers to be around golfers and improve their game. That's how it felt to me. So they're doing it right. Big shout out to those boys. Brandon's going to be buzzing with Sims. There's Evo, Shanks. We cannot wait for it to open. It's going to be a totally different experience than Evo, but I do think that both of them are going to do extremely well in Brandon because they kind of cater to different moods, I guess, or what you want to do. Clientele. Shanks will have the ability to, both of them will have the ability to cater specifically to golfers and events, but they'll have it in a different way. Shanks will be a much bigger building that can hold more people. Evo will be a little bit more personal, but I'm sure they'll both do some really good things with what they got there. So big shout out to Evo. Can't wait for Shanks to open up and try that out in the wintertime. See how it feels to hit a ball when it's minus 40. I think that'll be an experience in itself.
So
Did
we
you play
won't have to
around or
drive
you
out
just
to
hit ball?
Shiloh now? Oh, sorry.
Oh. What happened?
Did you play around or just hit balls?
No, we played around. We actually played at the Highlands, the Cape Breton Highlands.
We've been out there.
How was putting?
4 times
That's
we haven't
the big
played
one.
it.
Putting was actually really good. I wouldn't say that it was. We played 10-foot gimmies. So
Okay.
I like that aspect of it because you don't have to worry about missing short putts and dicking up your score. We kind of had a few holes of our own where we got trapped in the bush a couple times. But the putting itself was really good. It was the most accurate one I've seen because I don't know. The thing that I did like about it is that, on the old Sims where you had to kind of line yourself up differently for a lefty versus righty, it really depended on where the tee was, all that kind of stuff. As soon as you drop the ball onto the mat, everything shifts based on where it is, which is really cool.
Really?
I thought, yeah.
That
And
is
even
cool.
with putts, if you're instead of in the middle, you're a little bit to the right, the camera angle will actually shift to adjust to that, self-adjusts. So that was pretty cool. I've never seen that before. I'm sure all the new ones have that. Maybe I just haven't played new ones for a while, but nonetheless, I was pretty impressed.
Beauty.
Cam, they don't have a liquor license yet. I think they're getting it next week. So we just had Gatorades.
So you're saying that we don't have to drive out to Shiloh to golf anymore?
Thankfully, we don't, because that was not the best. Although Shiloh was pretty catering to.
Derek hosted the boys a few times, but
Shiloh was awesome, other than getting home.
Yeah. We shouldn't shit on Shiloh because they were the only sim in the whole area for 10 years. And they did pretty good there. They were really.
And the putting there was unreal. Second to none, that one.
Also, how good was the food there?
Yes.
That was money.
So good.
The golf always went super quick until we got the food, and then it just slowed right down. We had a couple shifts there.
I think that's one other aspect of Shanks and Evo, kind of comparing them. Shanks will obviously have a full service grill, bar, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure like Evo will have sandwiches and things like that. I don't think they're going to have a full kitchen in there like Shanks will, but
Yeah, you'll
it's
have
good.
to have
It's
something.
Brandon can support both. I believe that it will, and good to see the boys moving golf forward in Manitoba and especially in the Westman area.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Awesome.
it's honestly just crazy how we've gone from one extreme to the other. We had no choices. Now we just Oprah. Everybody's got a choice.
Dolphins still, nobody has a choice.
Should probably
Balls
move
in
or
your
something.
court. Balls in your court,
Right?
Reggie. Or as Ricky
Yeah.
would say, Paul's in your court.
Paul's
Okay, let's get to Fix Your Divots tonight. Fix Your Divots segment. Everybody's favorite segment. Although Cheers is creeping up there. I had an idea today, boys. I'm thinking we should talk to Obsolete, or we cut our own path. And Reggie, me and you pick up like 12 different craft beers for the next 2 months. We open one or two every episode. We do a little rating on it. And then we reach out to the one that we both agreed was the best one to sponsor us. I know you won't want to hear that because you're an Obsolete guy, but I think that could be fun. Or we test different Obsolete beers and see what they throw at us. One of the two. I'd be happy with either.
There's also one here for sale.
Yeah, black wheat.
We could just.
How is that for sale? I
do
don't
our-
understand that. I thought they were doing good.
What?
They're not?
I don't
Like
know.
all
I've only been there
their
twice.
beers are in the LC here.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't necessarily mean good.
I heard the
Did
guy's
you?
getting old.
I'm
and
not doing it. Like I'm not shitting on a business for
No.
like information I have
No, it's all
nothing
good.
on.
I like their beer.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. I like their
I
stuff.
like their beer too. The Oak Island Beach Top.
Sour?
That was a solid beer.
I look for it everywhere. I could never find it.
I think that their issue was the brand new building. That hurt. That's a lot of monthly expenses coming out
It's
of
a
your
big
pocket.
ass building.
And if those seats aren't filled for the majority of the nights during the week, I can hear Bridget's phone buzzing upstairs too. She got the same alarm. She's in the shower though. Anyways, yeah, it's a tough one. They got good beer. I think that they'll probably keep distributing it. Maybe, hopefully. I hope they do, but who knows? So tonight's segment is brought to you by Prairie Scratch Tour. We just had a big announcement out of the Prairie Scratch Tour, which I want to discuss tonight briefly. So they had an announcement saying that the Prairie Scratch Tour will be back for the year 2024. The team at Prairie Scratch Tour has been working hard the last few weeks to prepare for the upcoming 24 season. We strive for excellence and success in all areas of the tour to ensure you, the players, have a top-tier experience and competition. Coming in 2024, a new schedule with some new courses, some new gear, some PST merch, a pro division, and a new event called the Prairie Cup, and more. Stay up to date on the latest news at prairiescratchtour.ca. So that is hella good to see that they'll be back. I think it would be tough if if they couldn't keep it going for a couple of years. So it is good to see. They must have enough momentum, enough interest, enough money coming in that they can extend it. And the more you extend it, the more you extend it. Yeah.
Just bring her west here, boys.
Well, they said that they got some new courses, so maybe they've been listening to the Kingdom.
No, they said a new event too.
New event and new courses, though.
What was it called though? The
Prairie Cup.
Oh, Prairie Cup. I figured that was like misread that.
No, you're thinking.
I thought I saw courses too, so I'm stepping away.
It did say new courses.
No, but which ones, you mutt?
I don't fucking know. It just
no.
says
I don't think they had anything. I don't think they ever posted anything.
I thought they did.
Call me one more time on live television, Drums.
And what?
Tried to brand and beat the wheels off you. That's what he told me.
Roscoe's in the chat wishing happy birthday to Ronner. To Dad. I'm almost out of liquor here, boys.
Okay, I got to get this fix the divots out of my mouth before we carry on to something new. This week's comes to us from our boy Steve Valcourt, and he says,
Steve-O.
and this one is an ass burner. But guys who look back at you from the green as you're waiting, and then they continue to hit practice putts. This is if I was a judge in a murder trial and somebody passed away because they got dicking around and somebody shot a ball at them because they were taking too long on the green, I'm probably siding with the guy that shot it in this case.
I had no idea where you were going with that one, Drums, but
I knew exactly where he's going, and I would be on the jury and I would vote in favor of the judge.
Absolutely.
What kind of psychopath? I get it. I get how there's times when you're like, you don't think there's anybody waiting, and you're like hitting practice putts, and then you look up and you're like, oh shit. See them, run and grab the balls, get off the green as fast as you can.
Hey, wait, I got 7 more putts I'm gonna hit.
Yeah.
No. Fucking eat this ball.
It's just ignorant. And the theme, and I know that there was one episode where we talked about our personal pet peeves on the course. And mine was just a lack of respect. And that's what that is. It's just a total lack of respect to other people on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Hit your putts, put the pin in.
Get
or
lost.
You know what? Here's my issue. And because I've been on both sides of this before, I'm sure everybody has. But you know somebody's behind you. There's really no reason to hit a putt. But if you do, get the ball out of the hole and at least make an effort that you're trying to get out of there and not just moseying to your cart. And then you take time cleaning your club, washing your ball, organizing your clubs, talking to your buddy, having a sip of your drink, get in your cart and get the fuck to the next hole. And that especially on hole 18, and that's one I thought we had on here at the end of it, is when guys on hole 18 park beside and they put everything in their bag. I've been guilty of that for sure. But
everybody has.
Yeah, when no one's there behind you.
Nope, not when nobody. Everybody's been guilty of it, like subconsciously or not, or like purposefully. But everybody's done it. They've taken too long on 18 to get the fuck out of the way. Everybody has. Doesn't mean it's any less infuriating from the people behind you.
I mean, at that point, the question becomes at that point is, do you wait or do you hit?
Hit.
Yeah. But then you're kind of hitting, hoping not to go over there.
I know.
So I guess the question should be, do you have green light or no?
Right.
Because yes, you've got the green light. You can hit if you're not comfortable enough, because I know I'm going to hit them. I'm not hitting until this prick's out of the way.
My personal opinion would be no. It's a red light. I think you do have a green light to yell though.
I think it's a yellow.
It's a yellow.
I think it's a green.
Oh, yellow. Because here's my logic on that. Is it really worth it in case you do hit one of these guys with a golf ball in the head or wherever and cause serious harm to themselves? And like, it's funny to say, but it's really not funny at all. Like, these guys could be seriously affected by that because you're pissed off. Maybe you've waited on them the last couple holes. You've kind of reached your bowling point. They're dicking around. You hit one. Your life has changed.
Yes.
Yeah. Should have been.
So I say not a green light.
They say on Happy Gilmore.
No, I'm saying like the light's green. That doesn't mean you go.
Yeah, it does.
Why?
I say yellow. That's what I'm saying, yellow, because you can still go if you want to. Proceed with caution. if you're going towards them, just yell. Just hit, unload. They're standing there pissing around. Hit.
I'm not sure that's what yellow means, but I'm with you. Just, yes, you can go. Tell them to get the hell away. And then if they don't, then you can start ripping.
Yep. Drivers too, DODs, straight up their butts. Yeah, I'm with Steve here. I don't love doing it, but I have been known on the course to just yell. Like, what are they going to do? You're not hurting anybody. You might piss them off. You might cause some tension, but I feel like yelling's better than hitting balls at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I can be the biggest prick alive, but I've never actually hit a ball at somebody while they're on the green.
Agreed. You can be the biggest prick alive.
Right. Yeah. No, I know my way.
Okay, that's Fix Your Divots. Thanks, Steve-O. He's in the chat tonight. We won't say his username for sake of future potential sponsorships on the Kingdom, but he is here. Just kidding. It's the Stinky Steve. Okay. The highlight of the show, the main event, the meat, the potatoes, is Reggie's Stroke Saver. This is something that we've been focused on putting a little bit more time into. Part of the Kingdom, our biggest goal, I would say, is to, number one, promote local golf, which I think we've been doing a pretty good job at with the Domies and everything kind of wrapped up in this podcast. But another part of it is to toot our own horns there. But another part of it is that we want to help people get better at golf and ultimately enjoy the game a little bit more. So the Stroke Savers are things from different books, different YouTube videos, Golf Digest magazines, anything that we come across, we kind of zoom in on that and we do a little bit of a deep dive into it. So that's the new and improved Reggie Stroke Saver. And tonight, Reggie, what do we got going on?
Tonight, excuse me, as I always mention, I was had a little bit of wine over at Dad's birthday, had a couple beers here, so excuse my reading. Tonight's Stroke Saver is titled Trust Yourself. This one's a modified version of the batter's box introduced to us by Ches in an earlier episode. A pre-shot routine begins with the player standing behind the ball looking at the target. In thinking mode behind the ball, it's time to analyze and develop strategy. Consider the following. How's the lie? What's the distance? How strong is the wind? Once you've committed to how you're going to play the shot, it's time to cross the line. It's time to get your head out of the way so that your body can perform. It's time to switch into trusting mode. Trust your swing and focus 100% on the target. You can't be thinking and swinging at the same time. You must be 100% committed to each shot. If there are doubts in your mind, your muscles won't know what to do. Let your routine switch you from thinking mode into trusting mode. A slightly altered version taken from Mind Gym, an athlete's guide to inner excellence. You know, it's funny, like every week, Jory, you're finding these Stroke Savers. And as I'm reading them, I think I feel like every person in the three of us, every person in the chat can relate to all of these and put their own golf game into perspective into these Stroke Savers. And whether or not you're a scratch or you're a 5, a 10, a 15, it doesn't matter. You can find your way to modify the Stroke Saver into how it changes your game or how it affects your game. And yeah, this is it's that one line, you can't be thinking and swinging at the same time, is so accurate. That might be one of the only time you ever golf good is when you're not thinking about your golf swing. Really.
Which is why I golf great when I'm pissed.
Exactly. 100%, man, honestly. No, that's true, though. It's so true.
I know that. I try to get to that point as soon as I touch down at the golf course.
My thoughts on this is we did give a shout out to Chaz, who's in the chat. He said it was solid. And the one thing that I wanted to say on this was that I did put this, because Ches was talking about this during the summer, and I did put this into practice. I tested it out on the course, and the results that I had were phenomenal. It was like night and day. The best rounds of the summer when I was thinking like that, the batter's box. But the one thing that I kind of had a hard time going forward was just how this, what do you call it, stick to itiveness, like sticking. It's hard to just, when you're golfing, to think of batter's boxes. Like I
Every
had
time.
trouble sticking in my head. But
Mhm.
I really like the thinking mode into trusting mode. I like the wording there, for one, the trusting part of it. And the thinking aspect is, you cross the line, it's like a batter's box. You can kind of visualize that, but then you also have the words there to kind of reinforce that. And I think that just having both the batter's box and the wording of the thinking to the trusting, I really like that. And I think that that is something that I will be implementing for 2024 season. And I think that this time it'll stick around because, as I said, that was the best golf I played during the summer, was when I was thinking about the batter's box and putting that into practice and focusing only on the target once you cross that line.
One last look at the target, says Chiz.
For me, this is kind of similar. I think it was probably, it must have been last year. I forget like how it was labeled, but Reg, you recommended that pod, local knowledge. It was with Rappaport before he went to Barstool, and it was just basically talking about more about. I forget, it was the new way to play golf. I forget how it was termed, but
Yes, yes.
it just focused more on this statistic. I have a terrible time with that word, statistics
It's a tough
of
word.
each shot and player statistics.
Mm-hmm.
Play what's likely going to happen. And so I have a hard time keeping myself in that. So like George said, I did it for one round, maybe two rounds, and then it's not in my repertoire or whatever it is, and then it's gone and never to come back until somebody brings it up a year later on a podcast. So it's like, oh shit, well I could do that. Why don't we just do that? So like it is legitimate. Everything about that
But
is legitimate.
but let's face it, like, I mean, you're not alone in that category, Drums. I mean,
No.
it you show up to the golf course and you go across into the pro shop. You have to be sociable there. You have to talk to the people in there, pay for your green fee, get your cart. You have to go into the clubhouse, get your beers, be sociable there. Then you get to the foursome that you're golfing with. You're trying to hold a conversation with them while also trying to keep your partner in it, while also trying to keep your own game in it. It's very, very, very hard to have enough time in your brain to think of something like this. Whereas if you're golfing on your own, it's so easy to do that because you're only there with yourself. You're only there. And that's why guys do play very good when they're by themselves, because they can really focus on those things. There's no outside distractions, and that's like it's hard to be a social golfer and put all this stuff into into play while you're out there, because you're out there trying to socialize with people who deal with you in business, and you're out there trying to socialize with people who are talking about everything. You're talking about sports, you're talking about all this, and then you're expected to have all these thoughts that we talk about on here. It seems like it makes so much sense when we're on here, but it's actually putting it into play while you're doing this, while you're doing that. It's a juggling thing. And then if you can do that at that time, and like you said, George, those were some of the best rounds you played when you remembered to do it, right?
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do here is give people those things that might stick in those times, right? The
Yep.
easiest things to do to prepare yourself to play the best golf while still maintaining a social
Yes.
aspect of golf, really.
Yes.
That was actually, I wrote it down, so that was going to be my next comic is like, what does focus look like to you guys? Like for me, tunnel, like, I mean, not on a golf course, but like if I'm working or doing studying or something like that, like it's tunnel vision. Nothing's affecting me outside. I am completely dialed in. I don't give a fuck about anything else. But golfing, like I want to have that. I want to have a good time over anything in the world. I want to have a good time on the golf course, and to me, that includes conversing with whoever you're playing with, just having a good time on the course. I can't do both at the same time.
So drums.
Maybe that's why I've subconsciously just gone away from giving a fuck about one and completely focusing on the other.
Yeah.
I
And
need
that's
a
kind of
medium.
like, that's why I really loved this specifically. It combined Chez's, it combined the excerpt from the book, and then I just kind of modified some of the wording to make it make a little bit more sense to me. But the thing that really stood out to me with this specific segment was that it said to work this into your routine so you can switch from thinking mode into trusting mode. That's what I think the key is, because if you can build a strong enough pre-shot routine where it doesn't matter who you're with, it doesn't matter if you're by yourself, if you're with your buddies, if you're playing a match or in a tournament, if your pre-shot routine it's usually the same regardless of who you're playing with. Some days it might be a little bit faster, but that's kind of on you to develop that pre-shot routine. I think that no matter who you're playing with, that part of it, if that's what you like, the thinking into trusting the batter's box, if that's something that helps you, you have to work that into your pre-shot routine.
Agree, 100%.
I think that's like a part of what we can. Crazy literally did not say fuck there. Just the way my words circled around in my mouth, that came out.
I thought that actually.
But what I was trying to say was, I think that's kind of what more focus of what we do should be. Let's give you all the information. You pick through it. Whatever's going to work for you, make it work.
Yeah.
Or whatever does work for you, let it work.
Yeah.
If that side of it works for you, don't change it. If you can
and
get something out of one little thing on this side, perfect. There's not a blueprint there's not a blueprint for a perfect swing and perfect way to golf. If you've ever paid attention or followed golf at all, you'll realize that. So there's no point in saying this is concrete how things should be done. Reg is perfect for this because there's nothing concrete in that guy's game either. So he gets these little tidbits, Jor with the books and research aspect of it, and then Reggie puts it into implementation for us. So it's perfect. This stuff is awesome.
Yeah, and I think that another thing that Jor, if you want to throw Chezzy's comment up there, I think that a thing that we want to do, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Jor, but I think we want to give as many tips as we can to help people play good golf while they're doing the business meetings, because a lot of people, I mean, myself included, Jor, I texted you the other day and I said, like, how do I actually expect to be a good golfer when I golf once a week? And when I golf on weekends, I just get crushed. And I don't practice ever, and I don't read anything. And I expect to still be a scratch golfer. I mean, it's not even reality. I mean, when I was playing the best, I was playing like 5 times a week. And that's when you go try to break the course record. But we need to find ways in, and this is a very good one, that you can just implement, like you said, Jor, whatever round you're playing in. It doesn't matter if you're playing with a business meeting. It's a 3-second thing that you visualize where you want to hit it and then step into the batter's box and do it. This is a useful tip no matter what round you're playing in. We're not out here trying to change the golf swing. We're out here trying to give people tips on how to improve in situations like this. I think that's an unreal tip.
If you think about it from a baseball perspective, and the batter's box wasn't a thing, and we just told you, hey, you start thinking about a batter's box. Draw a line out in your mind. That's where you go to practice. Once you're good there, you move on to literally the exact same thing, right? Like if you've never heard of it or done it, and somebody presents that to you, it's abnormal until it's normal.
Yep.
So it's something that actively have to work towards.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, as guys with a podcast, which I don't know why we call it a podcast. We do a live show on YouTube. It's more of a show than anything. But it's really impossible to find things that are going to apply to everybody. So what we can do is just find things that we think will, stick with most people. And even if it's one episode per month that you kind of pick something up, you don't want to be doing every little thing that we talk about or making too many changes. But like if something resonates with you and you can incorporate that into your golf swing, your pre-shot routine, your pre-round routine, whatever that is, and it helps you save 2 or 3 strokes and those add up over time, you know, you're going to enjoy golf more.
We talked about it when DI was on. DI's famous for saying the best thing that's ever happened to golf coaches was YouTube and Golf Digest, because everybody just tries to implement what they just told you, but that doesn't work for everybody.
Right. Okay. That is Stroke Saver of Reggie's tonight. Happy birthday to Dad. One thing I did want to close on, because we mentioned it on Instagram. So a little bit of inside information in terms of the Domies. We're on day number 3. The 3 hottest, what do you call them, categories are the most underrated, the best overall course, and new this year, which we almost forgot, the best 9-hole course. And it happened to be conveniently the 9th category as well. So that worked out almost perfectly.
Love it.
But we got some great courses on all those categories. Patty Law asked the question on Instagram today of our biggest surprise so far in terms of the quarterfinals. I don't know if you guys have been paying too close attention to the results or if there's anything that you noticed. I don't want to talk too much in terms of like our predictions or our expectations or anything like that, because I don't want to influence the voting in any sort of way. But was there anything that you guys saw after the first 2 days that you thought was interesting, whether it was a matchup or a surprise or something of that nature?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have gone through them so fast and put my vote in so quick. I haven't had time to process what I'm even voting for.
That's okay. Reggie?
I don't know if I want to get into it. Do I?
One thing that I will say is that no, I don't think you do, Reggie.
Well,
you know what? I will. Just
let's go.
I won't do it.
No, don't.
I'll let the fans speak.
Yep.
Yeah, we can give the comment after.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it on the Domies. But one thing that I will say, without stepping on any toes or influencing in any sort of way, one thing I will say is that it's interesting to see who's voting. That's one thing that I like about this. You can see who's voting. You can see who they're voting for. And even though some of these courses are advancing, like winning the quarterfinals, the quality of voters on the other side of that should actually swing it the other way. Like I've seen a few examples where just because one of the courses shared it, they got more votes.
Right.
But on the other side, it's like, okay, the Patty Laws, the Landon Camerons, the people who know golf and know Manitoba golf, they're voting for the other one.
In the end, maybe not last year, maybe not this year, but eventually these things will give the correct response.
Yeah, over a long time.
Once the courses all share. I think if a course wants to win and they want recognition, they should share it on their socials.
I agree. And I think that the courses who aren't sharing are idiots.
Yeah, no, that's why I kind of go back and forth with that. Because, I do understand if Minnedosa is better than Bridges is going to have a million times more of the voters. It's going to win that way no matter what.
Yeah.
But also this, I'm not going down a rabbit hole here, but like, isn't this exactly how everything in the world kind of works?
You can't say that.
Well, no.
In Canada?
That's racist.
That's racist. The election's over before it gets to Manitoba, so it's kind of the same way that works. But
okay, we're not going to take any of that bigotry.
Sorry.
We haven't seen any ballot harvesting yet. I do think that, like I said, the courses that
courses ballot harvesting.
I do think that courses who aren't sharing this are, I don't know, are they sleeping? Are they hibernating for the winter? It does not make any sense to me.
Or they don't want to be associated with something called the Domies.
True. Could be that. I don't think it is, but it could be. It's just like, okay, what's the worst case? Like literally all you have to do is bring this up and you press a button and you have a greater chance of being talked about on an account that has a decent amount of following, a golf show. And it's like, why not? Like, why not?
Do you?
Yeah, you do you.
Well, you know,
Just
like
been the truth. I'll give you that.
You have to give truthfully, like you have to give a pretty big commitment to like moving your hand over to the mouse or on your phone and just clicking the share button and clicking share. That is huge. It's a big process to do, but yeah, we understand if people can't do it. Makes sense.
Early predictions we saw the nominees today. No, we better not make predictions.
No predictions yet.
In the chat, you can.
All right.
Because the top 8 best courses in Manitoba, and I feel like these are getting slightly less skewed towards the Westman bias. Slightly, it's still there, but I feel like the Westman bias is slightly fading. We had a bunch of new Winnipeg courses that have been. Carmen's been on every category this year. I've never seen Carmen in any of these before.
Have we ever played Carmen?
No, but
I have.
Why I haven't, and I don't know. Like,
yeah, you have.
Okay,
I played it with you.
Oh yeah, is that when we played with Kenny?
Smitty and Shitty. I thought.
Yeah, I did play that. Don't remember though. I was hanging out with Shitty and Smitty, so we probably started drinking at 7 a.m. that day.
No, we drank hard the day before, and then we barely crawled to the course.
That makes more sense.
It's one or the other. That's the only option. Yeah.
Okay, so best overall.
From what I remember.
Best overall, we had Oak Island, who's the defending champ. We have Granite Hills. That's a pretty good matchup.
Is it though?
No, who's winning for Reg?
I just voted.
We had Neepawa versus Clear Lake, another solid matchup.
I love it. I love that Neeps is just like, give me the big dog. I'll go.
Matchup number 3, Gilbert and Dosa, which is a tighty right now. And
way tighter than I thought Grandview would have ever gotten to. What are you doing out there, Rich? Huh?
I don't have the control of the Gilbert account.
Well, you do. You can tell people. Patty is rallying the troops to beat you.
Yeah, you need to be like, what's that guy's name? Paul Revere.
Paul Revere?
Yeah.
The doses are coming. The doses are coming.
And the final matchup is matchup
They're actively trying to win. You're actively not. What are you going to do?
I just texted the. Just kidding, no.
Elmhurst versus Shiloh. Matchup number 4. So that's the categories. Tough to say. Tough one to call. We got to wrap this up though. Boys are stretching this out too long.
We're getting squirrely, so yeah. We're out of here. That's it. That's all. We're done. We're out of here. Shout out and good lucks to AC and our boy Tiger. Good luck this weekend, boys. We'll be watching. That's it. We're out of here. Love you. Peace.
See you, fellas.
Love you, boys. Happy birthday, Dad.